Hey. Beautiful sunny day out there. It's nice. Good to get back from spring break, and I guess before I get into the team, exciting time I know for a lot of sports, but in particular our men's and women's basketball team. Just want to congratulate them on great seasons, and I know we're excited about what this weekend and the rest of the month holds for them. We'll be rooting them on. So some great coaches, Coach Curry and Coach Oates, just doing a great job with their team. So today, good practice, just a lot of work from beginning to end. Second day with shells on, and so saw the physicality ramp up, good energy coming off of spring break. You always, I've seen times over the course of the years where there's a lull. Didn't feel like that was the case at all. Guys were ready to go, and I think having 3 practices before we took the break, got their minds on football. I think that's always a big deal. Just keeps them thinking about what they should be working on, focusing on their priorities, and they come back ready to go.
Is there an apprehension about spring break, and then in this particular spring break, did they come back? Were there good things or bad things that
like rusty or something? Or no, I guess my experiences, I've had times where we've taken up to 2 weeks off, and I got nervous about that one time, and the guys come back and just like we did today, we came back ready to go, and it's good. It's going to go really fast here because all of a sudden practice 4 is over. We're going to get through the weekend, and by the end of next week we'll have a scrimmage next Thursday. So it's going to happen pretty quickly, and when you get to that point, you're almost half done with the whole 15 practices. But the guys were sharp. Again, beautiful weather out there, so how could you not enjoy the day that we had?
What have you seen out of the running backs, and what's Draylen Washington bringing to that room?
Yeah. It's nice to see that we had some just health issues throughout the season last year. So I'll be honest, there's some times where I'm seeing things for the first time too, with a few of them. So we know what Jam can do. You all know as well, and I've seen a lot of him. He continues to just work, and whether it's in the weight room here in the off season, and then just new quarterback, and do his thing there. Maybe most of the stuff is the same, but even a few little things that we're doing differently just to fit him in the offense. Things that Coach Grubb brings, things that we just want to continue to evolve as we know our personnel better, know what Jam does really well. But the rest of the guys, you brought up Dre. I think he's a little combination of kind of all the guys. Kevin's probably our shiftiest, kind of explosive, guy on the roster. Dre's compact, much like maybe you'd see with Daniel and Rich, but got some shiftiness to him. Like his mindset, he just comes here ready to work. Knows he's got a lot to learn, and focused on what he can control.
Speaking of the quarterback position, I mean, obviously Jalen kind of took up a lot of the responsibilities when it came to the run game last year. I'm curious, without that, I guess, whoever the quarterback is, without that kind of running ability, I mean, they're athletic, but I mean, how do you expect, or what's kind of the pitch in terms of making up, I guess, the production lost in terms of the quarterback run, moving into the run game?
Yeah, I think you kind of think, well, the runs Jalen had just translate over to running backs, but I think a lot of it was the style of offense too. To me, those runs go to the running backs, but they also might be a few more pass attempts that you have that the play action game gets opened up by with more handoffs to the tailback. And I see a lot of that kind of developing right now with the play action game because there are more carries that the running backs have. So it just, the system is the same, the concepts are the same. It's just what direction you call more plays when it comes to the style of runs, which are definitely more tailback oriented right now for sure than what we saw a year ago.
Sticking on the wide receivers, what have you seen from the two freshmen, Latia Brooks and Derek Meadows?
Yeah, Derek, when you look at him out there, you pick him out anywhere, right? He's long and has a presence about him. Saw a one-on-one rep today that was really neat to see him use his body. Sometimes guys that are like that, they got that presence, but they don't use it, and he used it. Really got a long wingspan, so just get the ball in the vicinity and he'll come down with it. Last year is really explosive, and they both got a lot to learn when it comes to just feeling comfortable in the offense, and when that happens, then being quarterback friendly and being where you're supposed to be, and especially on time. But Latsier's got some of those instincts. Sometimes it's hard to find guys. It's not hard to find him, and he can finish those plays. When a ball's in the air, he can get that little burst to get underneath of it. Those ones that are just off the fingertips. It seems like he's finding a way to haul them in, and got that little extra juice and can make good out of body, outside the body type of catches. So really like what we see early on with those two guys.
Staying with the wide receiver.
Go ahead.
With the way that the coaching staff is set up with Ryan and Kane, just as coordinator roles, how's that been impactful through this part of spring practice, and what's been your assessment of how the entire coaching staff has come together?
Yeah, no, good question. And with the rules last year, Kane, really the whole season, we had Chuck Morrell coaching the linebackers. We just didn't make it publicly known until after the season. So Kane is kind of operating the same as he did last year. One thing I think he is doing more of is getting around. He really trusts Coach Morrell, Chuck Morrell, in the linebacker room, and he'll still have a presence there. A lot of the calls go through the linebackers, but he's had a really good chance to get around to the defensive backs, the guys up front, and I really like that. Make sure everyone's on the same page, the same messages are coming across. And then, with Ryan, I think he's still right now spending most of his time with the skill positions around the quarterbacks. He's a believer, just like I am, that if you're a play caller, definitely got to be locked on arms and in sync with your quarterback. And so they're still around each other a lot. Nick's doing a great job coaching up the quarterbacks, has that rapport with them, as you'd guess from being around all year. But I think there'll come a point in time where Ryan can see kind of everything too. So it's really gone well here through the first couple weeks.
If I could ask a follow-up question. In that same light, moving into a second year with the coaching staff, how much of a step forward can the group collectively take, and what have you seen that's giving you confidence that the staff is moving in the right direction?
Well, continuity is huge, right? Continuity with your staff, because now you're not teaching your staff new concepts and the techniques and the things that we want to do, or even just not even related to football, just how the logistical things that we recruiting and all that. We just keep moving forward. We evolve. We adjust based on what we feel we need to areas we need to grow, and so that continuity is really key. Even Jason Jones, he knows the defense. He was with Kane Womack at Indiana there, and so him sliding in was really easy, and that wasn't the reason why we hired him. It just worked out that way, and he was a great coach first and foremost, and then that familiarity with our defense has just been a really smooth transition. So for us, the continuity is really key, because now we can take the next steps with all of our guys, and we know our personnel. We're not having to relearn things. Ryan Grubb's really the only one that's had to get up to speed, and he's poured into the film and watched all of our season, I know, more than once, and understands what our guys are capable of and what we've learned from year one.
Going back to wide receivers, how has Cole Adams looked coming off of the injury, and who else in the receiver room is a real natural fit for the slot the way Cole seems to be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we have a number of things that we can do. Cole, first of all, to answer your question, easing into things, the slot is definitely his spot. He feels the most comfortable. He's always, when I talk about quarterback friendly, he's that guy that is friendly with the quarterback in the right place, a heady guy, going to make the catches that are there for him, be consistent that way, and just working in, kind of building on what he did last fall before he got hurt. One thing in the slot that bringing in like an Isaiah Horton and having more length on the outside now with Jalen Hale too has allowed Ryan to move around different spots, and between he and Germ, and really I think Isaiah could play maybe not the slot all the time, but these guys are very versatile. They kind of have their starting points, but we can move around, and I think that is really what we like to do, because we want to have a very unpredictable offense, and so certain guys in certain spots don't carry over from week to week, and we can utilize their strengths still.
Is Brooks a natural slot?
Yeah, I would say he's a that's his starting point right there, is in the slot. You know, you think right away, get the ball to him and let him do his thing, but he's really good down the field too. Has really good body control, can win on defenders, you know, down the field, not just in, you know, the first couple of yards and when he's got the ball in his hands. So been really impressed with him.
Coach, what have you seen from the specialists?
Yeah, they've been pleased so far. I think Connor's, you know, last fall you could kind of see him continue to gain confidence. I think it was great that he got out there, you know, whether it was just to kick off. That was an important role, and he did a really good job, I thought, most of the time. Got better as the season went along, and I think that's just carried over into being consistent, more consistent than what I remember him seeing for sure last spring, but also more consistent from last fall. So he's doing a good job of getting the ball up quick on the field goals, and I think just really in control. I really haven't seen him have like a bad kick. You know, you're not going to be 100%, but it's not like there's just ones where'd that come from, you know? So he's doing a really good job there. And then, you know, there's a number of guys working with the long snapping, and then, you know, with Alex being hurt, we don't have our full group of punters, but you know, like what I see there. You know, Burnup's going to be really tough to replace. I don't know if there's another Burnup, you know, right now, just because he's different. You know, I mean, he's the best I've ever been around when it comes to punters, and so you know, we were towards the top in the country for a reason. You know, there's schematic things, but there's also just the guy kicking the football. So we got to continue to do a good job with our punting, but also do a good job with just our coverage units and just execution there.
What have you seen from Wilkin Formby, and also just how do you balance maybe getting people different reps on the offensive line, or focusing them on the position where, yeah, could you put him at left tackle, or are you going to focus him more on right tackle where he's probably going to play?
Yeah, he's been mostly at right tackle. It's not a big deal, but he was sick for a couple of days in there, so didn't missed a couple practices. Allowed other guys to get some reps, which was really good, because we're going to need those guys too. Some young bodies in there on the offensive line, but he was back out there today. You know, I thought what stood out to me the first practice in particular, and I believe he was the first two actually, is his leadership. You know, and just I'm encouraging that out of him. He's, you know, taking the next step, being just more aggressive that way, which I think then carries over to just confidence and play on the football field. But you know, he's out there, you know, making the calls with confidence. It starts with Parker, works its way out, and you know, that right side now is kind of the veteran side with he and J-Rob, and then Parker, you know, at center. So like what he brings, and he's had a good offseason in the weight room.
Coach, you mentioned. Go ahead.
Say, how is that left guard spot looking right now?
Yeah, a few different guys rotating. Gino, you know, has to take snaps at center along with playing guard. He's versatile that way, and we're going to take advantage of that. So we want to have him be able to compete at the interior spots, but also make sure we got a center ready to go too there, and the guy can take the reps with the twos with him. And then DeBoer has done a nice job. You can see him coming along every day, getting more and more comfortable. It takes time for those guys from communication on to trust and execution. And been a few different tackle bodies in there with Caden being out, you know, too. So it's been a little bit of a kind of a you know, by committee type situation there on the left side here through the first couple of practices.
Coach, you mentioned Coach Grubb diving into the film and maybe relearning some things, but in terms of just having him back and being back with him on an everyday basis, what have you noticed about that even in this short amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, he's motivated and determined, just like I always know he's always been, to take our offense to the next level. And you know, I think he has an appreciation for what we did installing and working through, but ready to keep evolving it like we would have hoped we would have done anyway. But you know, just a few different wrinkles, few things, you know, that he's even brought from his experiences last year that are, I think, going to be really helpful to our offense, and I'm excited about. And he just, you know, done a great job of just diving in with our staff. And really, you know, there were some prior relationships, obviously with Nick and Shep, but really getting to know Brian Ellis and Coach Cap, you know, just bringing that group together, and you know, the chemistry there, which trickles down to your players, being really important. So, you know, obviously he's got some great play calling experience, you know, and you know, you can feel that little edge that he brings, and excited about that. You know, there's a reason why we brought him in, and very unique situation, you know, but one that certainly familiar with from many years of working with him. Thank you guys. Well timed.